Good evening. Thank you for welcoming to yet another edition of the Evening Review Show. My name is Jemima Beatrice, your host this evening. Now, before we go into our interview for this evening, let's have a look at tomorrow's headlines. Kapenda back in court in July. Okaku councillor has to be in court back in July to make a new court appearance. Namibia to provide support for Angolan elections. Namibia has pledged to provide material support and logistic support for the upcoming Angolan elections in later this year. COVID offers opportunity for tourism. Tourist operators in the country have been urged to use this time to transform their businesses given the challenges that they've gone through during the COVID time to make for new opportunities. Welcome back. Now, our guest this evening is Ambassador Sinika Antila, Ambassador of the European Union to Namibia. She'll be talking to us about the Europe Day that was celebrated on Monday, as well as the theme that was elected by the European Union, youth, that this year will be the year of the youth, as well as how the war in Ukraine is impacting geopolitics. Thank you for joining us, Ambassador.
Yeah, thank you for inviting me.
Now, Ambassador, as we begin, can you please explain to us the significance of Europe Day?
Well, it has a long history. You know, that time French Foreign Minister Robert Schuman made an important speech in 1950. Mm-hmm. So after the Second World War, and you know, in fact, it was a meeting about forming a union within certain European countries on steel and carbon. And after the experiences of the World War, it was decided that it's better to come together and form a union of not competing with each other on the steel and carbon industries, but be together as a union. And then peace was really the fundamental issue there. And you know, Mr. Schuman in his speech said that we should never have peace anymore. And ever since, we have been celebrating the 9th of May as a Europe Day to recall how important it is to be together rather than competing, and rather than having war, live in peace together. And it is very, very topical at the moment, because unfortunately now we have ongoing war in Europe when Russia attacked aggressively Ukraine, an independent sovereign country.
Yeah, as you say that, it's very topical with that. Do you think this calls upon a new commitment to Europe Day for countries around the globe, for this kind of commitment as was foreseen by Schuman?
Yes, definitely. It's more important than ever at the moment, and I'm very happy that we could celebrate it here in Windhoek yesterday for the first time after the pandemic, and there were many people, but everywhere. I think the role of the Europe has come up now because everybody feels that peace is more important than having war. And in Europe we also have something that we call Conference of the Future of Europe, and especially there young people have been giving ideas. Where should Europe go? And peace is definitely important there, but also they have been discussing like 49 different issues. So it is very new. I don't even know what are the recommendations. We will definitely hear from it when it's been studied. But peace is at the center now, and as European Union, we have also come together and we are helping Ukraine very much, and we are helping Ukrainian refugees, and we are helping Ukraine to buy humanitarian aid, by money, and even military help to help them defend their independence. And we have also come together as European Union to strengthen our security cooperation. We have adopted something called strategic compass to guide our more intensified cooperation in security areas in the 5 to 10 years to come. And what is important, we find security not only military way, but in a wide way, encompassing climate change, cyber security, fight against disinformation, and so all these elements that are important for peace.
Mm-hmm. Ambassador, speaking about the war in Ukraine, Europe, in particular the European countries, have come under severe criticism for the way that they've treated Ukrainian refugees, as opposed to the way they are handling refugees from other countries to whom they've shut their borders while they've opened up their borders to Ukraine refugees. What are your views on that?
Well, first of all, I would like to say that we have war in Europe at the moment. And, it is very natural that then European countries, neighboring countries are affected. And European people are affected very strongly about this. European people have opened their arms to help the over 5 million Ukrainian refugees that within these 2 months have been forced to leave their countries. And in fact, it's more than 10 million Ukrainians that have been forced to leave their homes. So some of them are internally displaced people inside Ukraine, but over 5 million have gone. And where do they go? Of course, they cross the borders. They go to Poland, Moldova, all other European countries. And when it's so close, of course, our people feel close to our neighbors. They are our neighbors. Mm-hmm. European people have opened their homes. They are accommodating refugees. They are giving, individual people are giving a gift, sending money. There are some people who take trucks and drive from Finland or all the way to bring some equipment. So of course it is geography matters also. You have been helping Angola refugees. Angola had a war for a long time, and you had many refugees. Of course, you helped. So this is one thing, and I'm sure everybody understands that when it's your neighbor, you are the first one to help. But we had a lot of migrants from Africa and different countries. Especially there were big amounts of migrants coming in 2015, and we as European Union, we still host like over 1 million Syrian refugees. European Union is the biggest supporter of humanitarian aid and development aid in all these different countries, including to Afghanistan and Syria, and so you cannot say that we are not supporting. But this fact that it is inside Europe ongoing war, it of course matters. Mm-hmm. Both this kind of human feelings and willingness to help, but it is also a security risk for the whole Europe, and not only for the Europe, it's for the whole world. So,
are you saying that if Europe allows in refugees from, say, Middle Eastern countries or Africa, it poses a security risk? I don't quite understand. Please clarify the...
It is a security risk for Europe to have a war inside Europe, okay. Near our borders. Mm-hmm. It is definitely a security risk, and it has changed completely the security architecture of Europe.
Yes.
And of course, because the aggressor, Russia, in this case, is a nuclear power country, yes. A big military power. So it is, of course, the risks are big if the escalation becomes wider. So that's why we have come together as European Union. What has happened is that we are even more together than we were before, and together with our partners, US, UK, Japan, other partners in this matter. Because what is important to keep in mind always is who is the aggressor and who is the victim. Mm-hmm. And I find it sometimes when I follow the discussion on this issue, especially here, that those basic issues are not kept in mind always.
I understand completely. Ambassador, I think the issue here is, the criticism is that, yes, I understand when you have to deal with your issues at home first before you help others. But countries like Germany has, for instance, made laws for refugees to give their belongings to police officers, for instance, and they've really mistreated refugees from the Middle Eastern countries and from Africa. And when you speak about geography, there are countries that are close, Middle Eastern countries that are very close to European countries, like Spain, for instance. And these are people that have been very poorly treated, these refugees. Don't you think this favoritism, as people put it, for Ukraine should be reviewed? People are not saying that you should not give attention. The question is just, why is it that the refugees from Ukraine are helped in this manner, whereas refugees from Middle Eastern countries that are very close to European countries also, if we have to talk about geography now, literally the doors are shut in their faces. I mean, at the end of the day, like you say, it is about humanitarian outreaches. Are some lives more important than others?
No, definitely. But also, when we made decisions, they are informed decisions. Each crisis must be studied case by case. And if you compare Syrian war, I didn't remember how many years it's been ongoing. The war in Ukraine is 2 months now. And the scale of having 10 million displaced people, 5.5 million in European countries within 2 months. You see, there are differences, and we have to take these into account. Yes. And already, you know, Ukraine already had the visa freedom. They could move freely. So you cannot, it's not question of nationality or where they come from, but you know, you have to, what are the facts behind? Plus then that they are the neighbors, they are within Europe. But of course, human lives are as valuable always. And we are hosting a lot of Syrian, Middle East refugees all the time, as you know, in Europe.
Yes. Now, speaking about Europe Day again, the EU has adopted this year as the Year of the Youth. Can you please talk to us about the projects that are lined up for youth around the globe, or Europe and Africa as well, like Namibia?
Yeah, I mentioned that we had a conference for the future in Europe now, and I'm looking forward to what especially the youth are proposing for education, for digital, for health, whatever that they have been discussing within those 49 recommendations. But here, of course, European Union, here we have been supporting education for a long time through the European Development Fund, and now we are programming for the years to come. We have our multi-annual investment program now approved that we will continue education, we will continue inclusive green growth, to create jobs, and then governance, which is also very important. And what we have done in the education before, we have done early childhood development, and we will continue that because we feel that's the basis for then education through the whole life cycle of people. But what is important for youth is TVET, technical and vocational education and training, and with our present, the last European Development Fund 11, we have supported together with Germany 3 TVET centers in the north, in Valombola, Enhana, Nakayale, and in fact we are going to inaugurate them now in June. I visited Valombola and Enhana myself end of last year. I was very impressed because, you know, to get skills, and especially what is needed now, because you have very ambitious plans as Harambe Prosperity Plan on the green hydrogen. So you need a lot of skills, you know, for solar technicians or whatever related to that. And I'm very happy that we've been supporting that. And we have the global, we call it Erasmus, and now it's Erasmus Plus, for the global student and teacher university level exchange program. And I must say that, you know, now it's much bigger now. It used to be Erasmus used to be 160 million euros, and now it will be 570 million euros for 21 to 27, and now also the technical and vocational education will be part of it. So I'm urging Namibian universities to make these twinning agreements with European universities and start these programs now, including on technical and vocational education. We also support you of course know that there was the Skills Africa, World Skills Africa in Swakopmund. I was there also speaking, and we have been supporting that also with 8.8 million euros. So those are the important, you know, in the education sector that we feel. And then of course the green growth, we are now programming for it. So we will we don't know exactly what will be the results, but we want that it will grow your economy and businesses and create jobs in that way, and including the green hydrogen, you know. President Geinkop met President Ursula von der Leyen in the EU summit in February, and they agreed on a partnership. So we'll see. We are working hard to make it come reality, and I sincerely hope that youth will also benefit of these trainings, and whether in early childhood or whether in TVET, and also the jobs.
Yes, of course. Now, lastly, the African Union and the EU Global Gateway Investment Package has pledged 150 billion euros to Africa.
Yes.
How will Namibia benefit from this?
Well, this is also something we are, because it was agreed in EU summit in February, and it's 300 billion altogether, and out of this half, 150 billion to sub-Saharan Africa. It can be in different areas, smart agriculture, digital development, greening the industries, energy, transport, health, education. And now when we are programming, it's our challenge here now, together with the partners, to find the concrete ways what to do here. We had recently, 2 weeks ago, in fact, the European Investment Bank delegation here, meeting with your, Minister of Agriculture and Water, Ministry of Finance, Bank of Namibia, then these green hydrogen partners. So we need those investments. And yes. As you know, Namibia is upper middle income country, so you will not get increasing amounts of grant aid. We have for our education and this, we are getting grant aid, but we need the European Development Finance institutions, where EIB is the biggest one, and the others. And we also have something we call European Sustainable Development Fund, which can provide guarantees. So we need, and we need new financing sources also. And we recently had also a delegation here to study green bonds, because what in fact is fact is that there are a lot of investors waiting for good, sustainable green projects to finance. So we are going to help Namibia to build in, system where you have good pipeline of sustainable projects, and if your government, like I heard from your Minister of Finance that time, that you go for the green bond, you would get also investments through yes. that way, and that's the way to boost economy and create jobs.
Okay. Thank you very much for joining us, Ambassador.
Thank you so much. Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you. Thank you for tuning in. Good night.